We are, as humans, biologically wired kind of feel shame. And it's very important as well. Like, it's very interesting that obviously shame is very influenced by our cultures we live in, because in every culture, we feel shameful for different things. But there are also those things that are, we could say, are international, intercultural, that we feel ashamed. Most of people, not everyone. I mean, sociopaths, psychopaths don't feel usually shame, but most of people, majority of the world, feel shame in many things, like when we hurt others and when, I don't know, like we do something wrong. But sometimes it's not really something really profoundly wrong, or maybe we don't even have to think that it's wrong. Maybe we think that it's actually the right thing to do, but still we feel shame because in our culture or in our family, in our surroundings, society that is surrounding us is considered to be wrong by the majority of people. But then also shame is very biological emotion. For example, it's studied that people that are born blind, they still have the same bodily expressions of shame. That means that they haven't learned from somebody. This is how we humans actually normally react when you're feeling ashamed. Roll shoulders, head down, hiding, like this hiding kind of expression. Even animals have it when they're ashamed. So it's very deep and very important emotion as well. The shame has something to do with our survival as a humanity, because shame makes us to belong. It aims us to do better, to belong to a group, and to be safe, to survive. Basically, back in the days and Stone Ages and whatever, when being on our own was it was putting us in the danger of just dying, because we had to stay in a group. So it's not necessarily a very negative emotion, but obviously chronic shame can be very damaging. And chronic shame often comes from our early years. Maybe we were shamed a lot by our caregivers, in our schools, by people around, like most likely adults. But it could be also from other kids, obviously. And this can be very, very damaging, because this could become a habit of just feeling shame for anything we do, basically. Even if it's something coming from our heart, from our soul, just being ashamed of who we are. And besides of shame being important for our survival back then in Stone Ages and whatever, shame is also still important today for us to feel, because it's how, it's kind of a way of communicating. So if we are actually doing something bad, if you did something bad, like, I don't know, made a mistake, we hurt somebody by our behavior with doing something really stupid, and then we feel ashamed, and naturally our maybe shoulders roll down and we put our head down and we say sorry, and we feel ashamed of our behavior. This communicates to the person that we are very genuine about our mistake and how we feel it, which can give basically just communicating that, and which can understand, the other person can understand us better. So it still has feeling shame and expressing it. It's still very important. So we don't have to like paint it negatively right now. But obviously, as I said, chronic shame is something we don't want to feel. And we don't want to stay shame around for too long, because it definitely can harm our life quality. How do we deal with a shame that we don't really want to have, or chronic shame? Is first of all understand where it comes from. So most likely, if you feel chronic shame, if you feel shame very lightly for whatever you do, and you very often feel like you're feeling you are wrong, you are ashamed of yourself, of who you are, in generally, it's very likely that this is somebody else's voice in your head that is stuck for many, many years. And it's very likely, as I said, somebody from your caregivers, somebody from adults that were surrounding you. And this can be a very hard work. It's possible to have done it alone. Maybe I should make a video about it. It's actually mindfulness practices, a bit like digging through, because these kind of beliefs that we have very deeply is almost all the time somebody else belief that was put on us. Somebody maybe repeated to you, "Oh, you should feel ashamed," in the times where maybe you shouldn't have felt ashamed. Nobody should tell us when we are supposed to feel ashamed. If we are not sociopaths, psychopaths, then we are feeling shame when we have to feel shame. And if we are being shamed for just being who we are, or maybe we are feeling ashamed for something we've done wrong, but somebody putting more pressure that we feel even more ashamed, we are bad people, we are wrong, we are stupid, we are dumb. Obviously, then that can influence our feeling, our relationship with shame for the rest of our lives. So recognizing that voice is very important. It's the first step. And by doing that, every time we feel shamed, we can start reminding ourselves, this is not who I am. This is what I've been told. So it's not a trick from one day to another. It's some sort of a mindfulness practice that has to be done constantly, and every time you feel this feeling is overtaking you, reframe your inner dialogue. So it's, as I said, it's okay. Obviously, it's okay to feel shame, but try to reframe some things. If you done a mistake, when you're thinking about it or you're talking about it, you say, "I've done a mistake. I feel ashamed." But do not start using these kind of words like, "I am a mistake," "I am wrong," because these are two different things. We've done wrong things. Maybe we haven't, but try not to use these definite words. "I am wrong," "I am a mistake," "I'm bad." Also, try not to use in inner dialogue these things like, "Oh, I am always uncareful when I talk with people," or I'm never able to be good in relationships to other people. I always make mistakes. We don't do anything always or never. It's just not a healthy inner dialogue in any kind of actually topics we talk with ourselves. So try to avoid these things when you talk about yourself. It's very hard. I tend to do that as well. Like use these things. I'm always like this. This is bullshit. This is like nobody is always this or that. And this is not a healthy inner dialogue to have for sure. Another thing is be an adult for yourself that you needed to have, especially if you're feeling chronic shame. Or if you are having a hard time feeling self-compassion, just care for yourself as you would care for a little child that feels ashamed. Maybe this child have done something bad, just tell that child what you needed also to hear. It's okay. Everybody does a mistake. It's okay to feel ashamed. Now let's go on. It's fine what has happened. We learn from our mistakes. Give a hug to this child and give a hug to yourself. Give what you needed to have, because you really, really deserve that. Everybody deserves that. Unfortunately, not everybody gets it. And unfortunately, not everybody finds that early in life. So give that what you need, because you deserve that. And most of people don't. I mean, not most of people. A lot of people don't get it. So if you want to heal that, we have to give that to ourselves first. Another thing, try to find your vibe tribe. I mean, tribe in your tribe with your vibe. Because, yeah, as I said, shame is very shaped by our cultures and societies surrounding us. And for example, you feel shame by who you are. I don't know. Maybe you have your own self-expression that is not harming anyone, because we shouldn't feel shame for who we are if this is like our values and who we are, and it doesn't hurt anybody. If you don't hurt anyone and you're acting from care and love to yourself and to other people around you, whatever you do, it shouldn't be shameful, really. And so the best would be to find your tribe or a group of people, at least somebody in your life that can support you and not shame you for that. I think it's really important. Share about your shame. I think it's quite important. Maybe putting it on diary, naming it, being honest about it. I feel ashamed. I mean, it's kind of hard to say out loud, I feel ashamed of who I am. It's painful, and we don't want to really, it's hard to talk about it, and we don't even have to talk about it, really. But putting it on paper, at least, it can help. Or maybe sharing this with a person that we truly trust and feel safe, and we know this person is empathetic and compassionate, and they will take anything we say. If you have this person, it's good to share about it and naming it. But also, at the same time, what is really important, what I didn't know, I learned about this quite recently because I'm dealing with chronic shame as well. Another thing that grows shame that feels kind of productive is explaining yourself a lot, explaining your choices, over-explaining. We can always explain our choices to people that we care about, or maybe we think that our choices would hurt them. But only in those cases, only to people whose our choices really might influence. But to the rest of the world, we don't have to explain ourselves, and this should be our exercise for chronic shame people. Let's say you go to this family dinner and you are 40 years old and you don't have a job and you don't know what to do in your life, and you're in your culture, this is not cool, this is a bit shameful. But in your heart that this is nothing wrong, really. And you don't know what you want to do in life, and this is actually nothing wrong and nothing to be ashamed of. And so you go to this dinner and you prepare the whole scenario in your head about what you're gonna say and how you're gonna explain yourself. Because there's one uncle that says, you are 40 years old and you don't have a job and you don't know what to do in your life? Who does that? Ha 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 ha. And then you are just feeling, you have to explain yourself. Instead of being stuck in this chronic self-explanation and being apologetic for every fart you make, that you don't have to be, really. It's your life, and if you feel this is the right decision, instead of explaining yourself and keeping yourself one foot into a chronic shame, you don't over-explain yourself. You say, I don't know what to do in my life. And that's it. You don't have to be apologetic. You don't have to be self-explanatory. And this is an exercise to keep in mind. Because it feels really productive to self-explain yourself, but it's actually keeping us a bit more in the shame loop. So another thing is very important. Whenever you feel ashamed, try to change your posture as well. Maybe instead of rolling your shoulders down, putting your head down, rolling up, chin a bit up, just this body posture can do a lot. How we look and how we feel, how we really feel it. You can try to notice that. Change your posture. Even when this uncle asks you a question that he wants you feel ashamed and you feel ashamed, change your posture. I don't know. I'm fine how things are. Don't explain yourself. Change your posture. And this can change a lot how you feel about yourself and about the situation. Last but not least, shame needs to be accepted. And as I said, it's nothing bad to feel shame. Shame is an important feeling, obviously, and it's not good to feel it chronically. It's not good when it's destroying our lives. But if we done really something not very good and we feel ashamed about it, about this mistake, it's okay to feel it. Really, it is okay. It's nothing bad. If it feels after a few days a bit like exhausting and it's painful, this whole feeling of shame, let it be. It's okay to have it. Acceptance. These emotions are actually, they primarily wanted to help us. They want us to help. They want to help us. Jesus Christ. And let them to help us. Let them to help us for a while. They are for us to survive, to belong, to be loved, to love, and to basically live better lives. They're not to harm us. They're not there to harm us. So, yeah, that's it. And if it's chronically harming us, then we take an action. And usually chronic and damaging emotions, they have been planted by others into us. But unfortunately, we have to take care of them, and it's possible to take care of them. If we can't do that on our own, we seek for help. And thanks God, we are social human beings, and we are there to help each other. Much love to you, and find your vibe. Tribe. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, it's really early and it's really cold. I was thinking, oh my gosh, such a beautiful weather. I'm gonna go to the garden and film this video in the sunshine. C'est la vie. Ciao.